We were studying Python programming. Today we will be discussing the standard data types. There are 5 standard data types, namely numbers, string, list, tuple, and dictionary. These are the data types which are commonly used in Python. Let us start these data types one by one. Numbers. As in case of other programming languages, number data types store numeric values. The number objects are created when we assign value to them. Generally, Python supports 4 different numerical types. Int means integer, long, this is long integer, float, floating point representation of the number, complex number. Complex number which has real part as well as imaginary part, which is called as a complex number. So these 4 data types generally the Python support. The second type of data type is strings. Strings. They are identified as a continuous set of characters represented in the quotation mark. Generally, we are using quotation mark for representation of the strings. Okay. So Python allows for either pair of single or double quotes. Both will do. Either you can write a string in single quote or you can write a string in double quotes. Subsets of strings can be taken using a slice operator. Slice operator may be opening and closing square bracket like this, or opening colon closing bracket. This is called as a slice operator with index starting at 0 in the beginning of the string and working their way from -1 at the end. So let us see how it works. Okay, the plus sign is the string concatenation operator and the asterisk sign is the repetition operator. So plus sign is concatenation and as you see the asterisk sign is repetition operator. So this you should know, repetition operator. So let us actually see the way in which we are going to use the string in case of Python. Let me share Python IDE with you. Now Python shell is visible to you. And here I can write str equal to in single inverted comma hello world. So this is how we define a string. Let me enter and let me write print str So it is going to print our string. Print. I think there was indent str. Print str. Prints the complete string. ERINT. str. Oh. Print into bracket str bracket complete. So here you can see the error is occurring as I have not written str in the bracket. So hello world is printed over here. Suppose if I want to print 0th element, then I have to write print into bracket str into square bracket 0 square bracket complete round bracket complete and then enter. If I do this, 0th character is printed, which is H. Suppose if I want to print the range of characters starting from the 3rd to 5th, then I have to write like this, print into bracket str into square bracket 2:5 square bracket complete round bracket complete and then enter. Print 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 into bracket str square bracket, it's not double s, it's only s, single s, into square bracket 2:5. Here we are mentioning the range and closing the square with square bracket and then round bracket and then enter. So it's printing LLO, the 3rd character 0, 1, 2, 3. 0, 1, 2. This is 3rd character. So 2 to 5. 2, 3, 4 and space is the 5th. So LLO and space. It has printed like this. So we can index to the range of the characters within the string. Okay. So if we want to print all the characters starting from character number 3, then what I have to do is just write print into bracket str into square bracket 2 colon bracket complete and round bracket complete and then enter. So here you can see from the 3rd character to whole string it has printed. Now suppose if I write like this, print into bracket str star, that is asterisk 2. Meaning of this is that the string will be printed 2 times. Hello world, hello world. Okay, so suppose if I do this 3 times, the same thing will happen. Str asterisk 3 bracket complete and then enter. So it has been printed 3 times. Now let us see concatenation of the string. For concatenation of the string, we are using plus sign, and therefore suppose if I want to concate some another string with this string, concate means to join. So if I want to join some small string to this currently existing string, then what I have to do is this print into bracket. I have to write str plus then the string that I want to concate, and that should be written in double inverted comma, bracket complete, and then enter. So here, hello world text is your output. Here you can see the string is concatenated. Now, let us go to lists. Okay. So once again, let me share you whiteboard. So let me clear the screen, and we are starting with the new type, and that is list. Now, as you all of know, lists are the most versatile of Python's compound data types. It is a compound data type. And what list consists of? It consists of items, and these items are separated by comma, and they are enclosed within square brackets. Okay. To some extent, lists are similar to arrays in C. Okay. So here you can see how simply we can implement arrays in using Python. The one difference between them is that all items belonging to the list can be of different data types, which is not present in the C language. All the items must be of the same data type. Okay. So one more thing you have to remember is that values stored in the list can be accessed using the slice operator. Again, opening square bracket and closing square bracket, and opening square bracket colon and closing square bracket with indexes. Generally they are starting with 0 in the beginning of the list. So first item in the list has index of 0, or offset address, you can say it is of 0. Okay, and go on working on their way, so that the last item will be the last minus 1. That is, if suppose there are n number of items in the list, they'll be starting from 0 index and they'll be ending with n minus 1 index. Okay, so the plus sign is the least concatenation operator, just like your string. Plus sign is concatenation, that is joining operator, and asterisk is the repetition operator. Just we have seen in the string the functioning of this concatenation operator and repetition operator. So you have to remember plus sign is the concatenation operator, and asterisk sign is a repetition operator. Let us see some examples of the list. I'm going to share with you ideally. Okay. Now I think ideally is visible to you. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to define some list, and list may contain heterogeneous data type. So this is what is the specialty of the Python. There need not be same data type. If you are using number, then list may be of only numbers, only integers, only floats, only strings, etc. It is not necessary. So you can use heterogeneous, that is mixed type of data sets. in order to represent the list. Okay, so let me define the list as list equal to into bracket into single inverted comma ABCD single inverted comma complete. This is one of the element of your what you can say string comma 786. This is integer comma 2.23. This is float data type, and once again I'm writing here John. This is a string data type. Again I'm writing some number 70.8. So this is again in a float type of the data, and I'm going to close this list. So I have defined a list named list, which contains 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 elements. So I'm going to run this. Now list has been stored in your software. Now let me print this list. print print into bracket list. So what this will do is it is going to print the whole list. Here you can observe that ABCD 786, 2.23 John and 70.8 has been printed. So here you can observe the output is coming in blue color. So this is your output. Now suppose if I want to print the first element of the list, then merely what I have to do is I have to write print into bracket list and into square bracket 0 and round bracket complete and enter. So here you can see the first element of our list is ABCD, which is a string, and now here you can observe ABCD has been printed. Now suppose if I want to print the list for elements starting from 1 to 3, that means second and third element I want to print, then in that case what I have to do? So I have to write print into bracket list and into square bracket 1 is to 2. So square bracket complete, round bracket complete, and then enter. So here you can see the second. Oh, sorry, I have printed first to second. So if I want to print it from first, here there is a space. Okay. So suppose if I want to print it from 1 to 3, what I have to do is I have to print list from 1 to 3. 1 to 3. So if I do this, then 2 elements will be printed. So here you can observe 786 and 2.23. They are printed. Okay. So this is the way in which we can print the elements given in a range. Okay. Suppose if I want to print the element starting from the third element 0, 1, 0, 1, 2, this. Then what I have to do is I have to just write print into bracket list and into square bracket 2, third element means 2 and colon square bracket complete, round bracket complete, and then enter. So here you can observe starting from third element, all elements have been printed here. Okay. Now similarly, suppose if I want to print the list 2 times, then what I have to do? Okay, so suppose if I write this print into bracket list star 2 bracket complete and enter, then you can observe that the same list is printed two times. So repetitive operator we have used here. Suppose if we want to concate some element with this, then what we have to do is we have to just write like this. So print into bracket list plus 72 bracket complete. So if I do this, then what will happen? Some error has occurred. You can concate only list and not number. That is what it is saying. So let me form another list here, which may contain some elements like this. Okay, this is your small list, and we have defined a tiny list here. I think there is no comma here. So once again, I will correct it. Equal to here, instead of full stop, I have to give a comma here, and then I have to enter. Now tiny has been stored, and now I am going to concate your list and tiny. Okay, so how I'm going to do that? Print into bracket list. We are using plus concatenation operator, and tiny is also list. So we can concate two lists. So if we do this, here you can observe the list, first list is concated with the second list. So this is how we concate the lists. Now, let us go to another type of the data type, which is called as tuple. So we are going to study what the tuple is. Okay, the tuple is again a sequence data type, and which is very similar to the list, but a tuple consists of a number of values separated by commas. It is just like your list, but tuples are enclosed within parentheses. They are enclosed within parentheses and not within a square bracket. Okay, so this is the only difference. And the main difference between the list and tuple are lists are enclosed in square brackets and their elements and size can be changed, while tuples are enclosed in parentheses and cannot be updated. Okay, so tuples can be thought of as read-only type of lists. Okay, they are read-only type of list. That means once you have defined tuple, you cannot change it. So this is the main difference between the tuple data type and the list in the Python. So let us see some examples of this. Let me define a tuple. Let me share with you ideally. Now I think you can see ideally, and here I am going to define a tuple. Tuple. Instead of list, I'm going to write it as a tuple, and tuple equal to into bracket into parenthesis. I'm going to write something 25 ABCD, comma 3.4, comma Rohan So this is your tuple. Okay. So now what I did is I have defined the tuple. Okay. So I can also define something has happened. Invalid syntax. Something has happened here. Let me see what has happened. Copy and paste. Tuple 25 comma yes. This I have closed with single inverted comma. Now I think it's okay. So I have defined the tuple containing 4 elements, 25 ABCD 3.4 and Rohan. And now I'm going to show you how this tuple works. Suppose if I want to print whole tuple, then I have to write print into bracket tuple. So if I enter this, a whole tuple is printed. If I want to print only first element, then as usual, what you have to do is print into bracket tuple into square bracket 0. Address of the first element is 0 or index of the first element is 0. So 25 is our first element. Suppose if I want to print the elements ranging from second element to third element, that means I want to print 2 elements, second and third, then what I have to do is I have to write like this: print into bracket tuple into bracket tuple into square bracket 1 colon 3 square complete and round bracket complete and enter. So here you can observe the second and third elements are printed over here, ABCD and 3.4. Okay. Now similarly, if I want to print the elements starting from third element and all remaining elements, what I have to do is, or starting from first element, as I can say second element, print into bracket tuple and 1 into square bracket 1 colon square bracket complete round bracket complete and then enter. So here you can observe all 3 elements have been printed over here. Now, if I want to repeat this tuple 2 times, then what I have to do is I have to use repetition operator, that is asterisk. So print into bracket tuple asterisk 2 bracket complete and then enter. So here you can observe it is repeated for 2 times. The elements are repeated for 2 times. Now suppose I want to concate. For that I must have some another tuple. Let us call it as tiny and let us define tiny. Tiny may contain some 2.8 and comma MMC and bracket complete. Okay. So if I enter this, my tiny is defined. So if I want to concate tuple with tiny, then what I have to do is print into bracket tuple plus tiny. So if I do this and if I enter, you can see the second tiny tuple is concatenated, that is joined to the first tuple. Okay, so this is the way in which we are going to use the tuples. The value of tuple cannot be changed over here. So this is very, very important as far as tuples are concerned. Okay, so now if you are clear, then let us move to dictionary data type. So before going to dictionary data type, I want to mention here is working with array is very, very simple in case of Python. So now let me share you whiteboard. So third data type that we are going to discuss is dictionary. So this is dictionary data type, and here let us discuss what this dictionary is. Generally, dictionaries are kind of hash table. Okay, they work like your associative arrays or hashes. Okay, so they consist of key value pairs. Dictionary key can be almost any Python type. Generally, they are usually numbers or strings. Okay, values on the other hand can be any arbitrary Python object. Okay, so let me define. Dictionaries are enclosed by curly braces. This is very, very important. You remember this. Dictionaries are enclosed by curly braces and values can be assigned and accessed using square braces. Okay, so this is the way in which we can work with the dictionary. So let us start working. Let me share IDE shell with you so that I can show you how it happens. So tiny dictionary I'm going to form, or let me define dict as DICT, dict equal to now dict has been defined. Now dict into square bracket 1 square bracket complete equal to this is 1 inverted comma complete, enter. This has been defined now. Now tiny dict2 I'm going to define dict into bracket 2. I'm going to define it as this is 2. This is 2. So I have interpreted it. Then what you have to define is tiny dict. So what this tiny dict consists of? Let us write some elements in tiny dict. Tiny dict equal to into curly bracket name in single inverted comma colon John, 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 comma code colon. So whole the code should be in single quote, then comma colon 6734 6734 comma, this is second element, then third element is department DEPT. Let us write DEPT for department colon. Here I'm going to define his department as cells. Cell single inverted comma complete curly bracket complete. Now I'm going to okay. Now if I write print dict1, then what happens? Let us see. Print dict into square bracket 1. There must be a round bracket here, so that I forgot. So let me copy it so that it is done in a short time. Print dict. This must be in round bracket, and if I enter this is 1 that is printed. Dictionary 1 is printed. Now let us print dictionary 2. Print into bracket dict square 2. So this is another way of defining dictionary. So let us see whether it is printed. Yes, this is 2 that is printed. Then I'm going to print key print dict 2. Key print I have to write key print dict 2 dictionary 2. So here you can see that so this prints value for dict 2. Let us do it once again. Okay, let us now print tiny dict. Print into bracket tiny, what I have given name tiny dict, TINY tiny dict. Yes, it has printed the dictionary. Now I want to print keys for this. Okay, so here what I have to do is I have to write print tiny dict dot keys. Print, I'll copy this and I will write over here. Print tiny dict dot keys. So let us see whether it is going to print keys or not. Yes. The keys are name, code, and department. So it has printed the keys over here. Okay. Suppose if I want to print the values, then what I have to do is I have to write like this, copy. So this kind of data type is again very useful. Instead of keys here, I want to write values. What are the values for these keys? Those values will be printed over here. There is indent, I think. So I have to remove that indent because error has occurred here due to indent. So let me paste it here and then enter. So here you can see the value of name is John, the value of code is 6734, and the department is self. So you can observe that using dictionary data type, you can have keys and their values. You can store keys and their values in array format. Okay. So this is what we have learned in the dictionary data type. Okay. Now, let us go to the flow structure. Once again, let me share the whiteboard. Okay, I will clear the drawings and let me talk about the flow, control structures, conditional statements, etc. Okay, so generally the control flow of the Python program is regulated by conditional statements. There are conditional, you can use conditional statements, you can use loops, and you can use function calls. Okay, so generally Python has three types of control structures. Let me write over here control structures. So how many types of control structures are there? Three types. One is sequential, obviously, which is default. Then second is selection type. And third is repetition type. So all these three control structures have been used over here. Let us go to decision making. Generally, this decision making is based on conditions occurring while execution of the program. Okay, and specify the action taken according to the conditions. Okay, so here decision structures, they generally evaluate multiple expressions which either produce true or false as the outcome. In Python programming language, it assumes that any non-zero, non-null value as true, and if it is either zero or null, then it is assumed as a false. Okay, so let us draw the general form of the typical decision making structure. Okay, let me draw this format over here. Let me complete this drawing and then we'll discuss. So here some condition is given. So some value is computed and found out if it is true or false. Suppose if it is true, then here you can have your conditional code. So if that condition becomes true, then conditional code is executed. But suppose if it becomes false, if it becomes false, then program execution is given to some another block. Okay, so this you can observe over here. So this is a general format of decision making. Okay, so in Python programming language, following decision making techniques, they can be used just like other languages. If statement is there, and each statement consists of some Boolean expression followed by one or more statements. If the Boolean expression is evaluated to true, then block of the statement inside the statement is executed. If the Boolean expression is evaluated to false, then the first set of code after the end of each statement is executed. So this is what is happening in if statements. If else statement is also used, and if statement can be followed by an optional else statement which executes when Boolean expression is false. So after else is executed when the condition is false. Okay. The else if statement. The else if statement allows you to check multiple expressions for true and execute the block of code as soon as one of the condition is evaluated to true. Okay. So similar to the else if statement is optional. However, unlike else, for which there can be at most one statement, there can be arbitrary number of else if statements following an if. Okay, so you can check for multiple conditions by using else if type of statements. Okay, so first is the if statement, second is the if else statement, third is else if statement, and fourth is nested if statement. One can use one if or else if statement inside another if or else if statements. Okay, so there may be a situation when you want to check for another condition after a condition resolves to true. In such situations, you can use the nested if construct. Okay, so nested if construct is also available in case of Python programming. Okay, so this is all about the decision making. Now let us go to the loop type of statement. Let me clear my drawing and let me draw uh, loop type. So generally two types of loops are used. Loop statement, generally they allow us to execute the statement or group of statement multiple times. Okay, so hence it is called as a loop. Two types of loops are used here, while loop and for loop. So as you know all these things, this will be just revision for you. So let me revise the concepts. Loops. Okay, let me draw a diagram for while loop and a diagram for loop. So how it works. From diagram you will come to know. So now here you can observe the condition is evaluated. Here you can see there is a condition. Then if condition is false, if it is false, then it will be executing the next instruction in a sequence. But if the condition is true, if the condition is true, then what it is doing? It is repeating the thing. Okay, if it is true, then you can see the conditional code. Conditional code is executed. So this is what is your while loop. This is a while loop. Okay, and let me draw for loop also. This is a construct of your for loop. Okay, now here there is an item from the sequence. This is a for iteration. That is what you can say for iteration. That is iteration type. So here item from sequence. Item from sequence. Next item from sequence. Next item from sequence and execute the statements. So this is done. The statements are executed till the sequence is completed. Once the sequence is completed, it comes out of the loop and it executes the next statement. So this is what is done in case of the loops. Okay. So apart from this, some other loop control statements are also there, like break statement. Break statement terminates the loop statement and transfers execution to the statement immediately following the loop. So if you want to break the loop, then you can use break keyword. Continue statement is also there. It causes the loop to skip the remainder of its body and immediately retest its condition prior to the reiteration by using continue statement. There is also a pass statement. Pass statement in the Python is used when statement is required syntactically, but you don't want any comment or code to execute. Okay, so in that case, just pass statement is used. So break statement, continue statement, and pass statement are the loop control statements. Okay, so here we are finishing mostly the basic part of the Python programming, and tomorrow we'll be studying the various IO functions which are required for Raspberry Pi programming. So today we are going to conclude our session with this.